Alright, getting started here. Typically on this side, so this is the road side of the rig, this wire coming in and coming into the battery box, the red and black, those go underneath here and go along that frame rail around the back, all the way to that side over there, and then together they go up. That's for your inverter wire. On this side, so your curb side, these two wires coming into the battery box here are for your battery, and they actually hook into your distribution panel inside the rig. And you can see in this battery box they're both hooked together. You see the plastic battery tray down there, and out here you have your solar Zamp solar plug. But all these wires running into the frame rail here and over there, they go along the frame rail here and then underneath. Alright, so I'm under here by the spare tire. I drilled out some rivets here and over there to take the wire clamps out. These wires come in the frame, run along the frame. So these two grounding wires, these two go to your brake controller and all the way up and through the hole in the floor. So that's the hole that comes up through the floor. This is your power cable going back to the junction box. These two wires were battery wires that went straight to the battery. And you can see they come into this and ground at this block. And the hot cable comes in here and grounds right here. The inverter, there's the cable for the inverter, the old inverter, and I have removed the inverter completely. So now I have my solar controller, my grounding and junction box 12 volt DC grounding blocks. So I want to talk real quick about why Airstream comes with the wiring looking like this and sometimes kind of worse than this. This is not my trailer. I'm helping a friend do this wiring in a different type of trailer, but the wiring is almost exactly what I had in my own trailer. But I quickly want to talk about this. So all the wires over here in this area that come through the wall, when they were manufacturing the trailer, so every 30-foot trailer gets a set of wires like that is a certain length. Every 28-foot, every 25-foot, so on and so forth. They all have a set of wires that's built into it that is this length. This whole panel here that I'm moving around is built in a separate part of the factory, and it includes your 12 volt DC panel, your inverter over there, and then the plug for the inverter outlet. All that's built as one panel. And when the trailer gets produced to this point, so the electricians, they bring this whole panel in, set it in the floor, screw it to the floor, and they take all the wiring that's here, that's typically just laid out, and they connect all the wiring. So there's already wires in this panel coming out to here. So the electrician that comes in makes these connections, makes these few connections, makes these connections here, and then they move on. Me, when I set my trailer up, and I connected my own wiring and shortened all the wires and made it look really pretty, it took me about an hour and a half to do all that after I've crimped and cut and moved every wire around. So I just want to quickly explain that's why they do that in the factory, because all these wires come at a certain length and all the wires come on this panel already cut, and they just connect them together. They don't have time to cut out all the excess. It's not dangerous. It's not a problem. This is typically just covered up. You'll never see it. It'll never be an issue for you. And that's all it is. It's just a little bit of excess wire. So what I was able to accomplish today, Pepper's back there looking at me. She helped some too. I took the 12 volt DC box, hooked it up here on the wall. I shortened some of these ground wires, hooked up my DC charger. I put the solar control on the wall and shortened up some of those other wires. I still got to ground this box, which I'm going to do with this long copper wire here. And then tap all these together. But it looks much cleaner in here than it did, and I'm pretty happy with this. So wire cleanup day was what this was. Still not completely clean, but all these wires coming out of here. So this wire goes out front to my DC to DC charger plug. So I have to hook it up to here, and then from here over the battery. This one of these is my solar plug, and the other one is for my front jack. So I got to run those to the battery. And this one outlet up here is for the old inverter, and that's what gives you your pass-through power. So you can plug that in, power comes into that, goes straight through your inverter when you plug it in shore power. So what I just did this morning, this compartment will be the curbside outside compartment. So what used to be the inverter outlet, so the inverter and the old inverter plugged into that, power wire came in the back to it, so it was a pass-through, so to speak. It's called a pass-through inverter. What I'm going to do is use that same outlet and just put it out here, so when I open the outside storage compartment, I'll have me an outlet right out there, fully ready to go.